All right, bang, bang. Welcome, DFS dads. We are on the second leg of the FedEx Cup playoffs. Top 70 players, no cut event. It's going to be a lot of fun. I think this is the fifth longest course. It's a brand new course, no history here, so that's going to be fun. Par 72, over 7,500 yards, but it has 6 super long par fours and 3 semi, especially if you're Bryson, drivable par fours. It's going to be a lot of fun. We are on bent grass greens. Once again, no cut, 70 players in this field. So it's going to be a different dynamic this week. Price, are you excited? What's a couple key things that you're looking for as we dive in?
Going to be off the tee play this week. I think it's going to be very important. And par 5 scoring as well. All 4 of the par 5s are you can get home in 2 if you're a longer hitter. So yeah, when you get home in 2, that should be an automatic birdie. Which you do that 4 times, that's a big leg up on the shorter hitting guys who can't get there. Yeah, and I mean, always going to be approach. Approach game matters, especially I believe it's smaller greens.
Yep.
So as long as you have a good approach game, you're gonna have to have decent around the green game as well if you're missing the smaller greens.
Yeah, I saw a stat is the 12 smallest greens at it says 5,200 feet. So they're small greens. Driving distance is something I'm looking for. It's a long course, but driving accuracy does not matter as much on this one. It's a course. It's in Maryland, outside of Baltimore, and it's going to be a birdie fest. So birdies are better and opportunities gained are another couple stats that I'm looking for. Let's get into our players, break down our models. We're going to show you who we like, and always go over to DFS Dads. We have the first look out now. We pick all of the plays, the bets, go over a deep dive of reasons why if you want to get analytical and figure out who you want to play. And if you don't want to do that, you don't want to take the time, we have our plays there for you. We also do the showdowns round 2, 3, and 4. And if you don't want to sub, that's fine. At least follow us on our socials, the DFS Dads on Twitter and Facebook, because we give out rounds 2, 3, and 4, some nuggets before each round. So even if your week long sucks, which happens to everybody, you can still be in the money by the end of the week. So with that said, Price, I'll let you start us off on we only got 70 players. We'll start off from the winner Finau and up. So 9,800 and up.
I mean, Rahm rates out the best. It's just a matter of, do you want to spend 11,700 on John Rahm? Which I'm very surprised he choked on Monday. You wouldn't expect someone of his caliber to do that. He's typically is the one who comes roaring back on Sundays. I think it's between him and so allegedly this course favors if you're a long right-handed hitter who hits a fade. So that would automatically put me on someone like DJ. The problem is he played like shit this past week, although he missed a cut due to, I believe, round 1, he broke his driver and they wouldn't let him replace it. So that is always going to have a huge effect on someone who mashes it, 310, 320 off the tee. I think it would be Rahm and then DJ. Morikawa checks the boxes for the stats, but I don't want to. It would have been nice to know if he had a hurt back going into last week instead of after he fucking missed the cut. What about you?
I really want to go to Rory. He's 5th in my model. He's first on a lot of stuff from opportunities gained off the tee. He's drive his ball great. He switched up to the fade as well with the coach, but in some of the comparable courses he plays well at. So I like him. I know that we said 98 and up, but that is the top guy that I really like, want to go for. But up top, like I'm not paying 11.7 for John Rahm, even though he meets all the criteria and he's a fighter. So him not doing well like he did on Sunday and finishing that out makes me want to play him. But 11.7 is just a little too pricey. Yeah, I do feel like the field has some soft pricing though. Granted, there's only 70 players, so you kind of have to have some soft pricing. So I think you can go up there to John Rahm and not feel like, I got to go way down low to fill out my last 2 golfers. So I have no problem with Rahm up there.
I did read Spieth has played here fairly often because it's right by the Under Armour headquarters. So whenever he goes out with him, I think he said he's played like 8 to 10 rounds here. So he might be one of the only people who's actually familiar with the course. He should be low owned. He blew up Monday. But you also don't think of him typically as someone on a longer course, but dude is elite short game. And you get a little 8% on Jordan Spieth.
Yep. And like I said, there are 6 long par 4s, but there's also some really short drivable par 4s. Now, he might not drive the green, but he is top 10. He's rated 8th in our model, and par 4s 350 to 400. So that's one stat that we're looking at. So there is something to that. You don't have to drive a drivable par 4 to be able to get a birdie, right? Especially with Spieth's short game and the way he can make putts and get a wedge in his hand. He's going to get a birdie more times than not. And I'm with you, DJ. This course fits him so well. But I don't know. He I can't do it.
It's tough because you think of DJ of like the guy like last year who fired off, 33 under and then just runs away with the playoffs, but he has not been that guy this year.
Yeah. So let's go down to the next range. I feel like you're going to want to go to the guy right below Rory, who I said at 9,300 at Bryson. Is that it? Am I feeling you right with Bryson?
My 2 favorite plays are actually the guys below Bryson. It's Cantlay and Hovland. Hovland, who had a fantastic first 3 rounds, starts okay and then gets a quad and then breaks his putter when he slams into his bag and has to fucking putt with a wedge on his last 10 holes. Otherwise, he has a good week. Cantlay is just an elite golfer. But I think Bryson is going to be, he's already getting talked up because it's a longer course. So everyone's automatically going to, flow to him. You're going to try and push him in. He's only 9,300. And with his combination of off the tee game, which is top in the field, and his ability to turn it up with the putter, because for the most part, he's a top, 20 putter on tour, which most elite guys aren't great putters. They're just average, but their ball striking gets them a bunch of birdie opportunities. But Bryson's like that combo where when he has that flat stick going and he's not snap hooking fucking drivers into the woods, he's a U.S. Open winner because of it.
Absolutely. He got 31st last week and was losing 3 strokes putting. But earlier on, I said that driving distance is nice, but driving accuracy does not matter as much. So he has a little bit more leeway this week, which gives him a little bit more bump. He is going to be talked up a bunch. His price is very appealing, but there are also a lot of guys around him. Maybe you want to squeeze all 3 of them in. But Cantlay, you want to talk in Cantlay? Why exactly? He's number 1 in my model. I don't know about your model. He's number 1 in my model. He's 5th in yours. He has he's top 10 around the green, approach, putting, ball striking, distance. He's top 20, but there's not really much of a difference from the 10th to 20th guy. Opportunities gained 7th. The par 4s, 350 to 400. He's 3rd. Like there's so much to like about him. And he's an elite player at 9,200.
Very much so. I believe he's a top 10 player in the world.
Yeah.
So you get him priced, like 13th here?
Yeah. I know it's not the same course, but 3 of the last 4 years here, he's got a 9th, 2nd, and a 12th. Not the same course. So it dwindles a little. It definitely dwindles, but
he's a guy who plays better in stacked fields.
Correct. That's why I can't believe I didn't even talk about Xander on a no-cut event. 70 players on it.
I know.
I can't. 11-1 is just so much. It's so much.
It doesn't make sense to spend that on him when you can get someone like Rory or Bryson for almost 2,000 less.
Yeah. And you can double stack them,
Mm-hmm.
Especially Cantlay. Like Cantlay and Xander, like in my eyes, there's not $2K worth of a difference between those 2 players. And it allows us to get more win equity with more of our golfers, which is what you want. All right. Is there anyone else? I would say Scheffler's in this range. That's your boy.
Love him this week. He's another guy who I think at least this season's not the last 2 seasons, just is a fucking beast at no cut, strong field events, majors, WGCs. He's a great player. He rates 7th in my model. He's top 30 in everything except putting for me. So he's just a dude who he's certainly not going to kill you when you plug him in. I think he has a couple 40th place finishes, but other than that, it's pretty much all top 10s. So I think he's a very safe play. You get four rounds of everybody because there's no cut. And that dude can, when he gets on a roll, he gets on a roll. I think he had a bunch of people victory lapping Thursday morning after Scotty came out, birding the first 3 holes. But I love him this week. Him and Harris English are probably my 2 favorite in the 8K range.
Yeah, Harris English has been he's a different golfer this year, especially the latter half of the year. He's improved.
He destroys par 5s.
Yes. He's such I love he's patient, his demeanor is great. I really like Harris English, and he started at 8,400 is a good price. It's not an amazing price, but it's definitely a good price for him. I like a couple of the guys around. Paul Casey kind of makes me angry at life, but Sam Burns, the young gun, 14th. Bent grass is not his best surface putting. So there's that, but he's an overall good golfer. He ranks 14th in my model, 8,300. I can see you throwing some flyers there as well.
I love this 8K range. It's stacked full of really good golfers.
I feel like you could get those, like, start at Rory and go down and just stack your team up with those.
Like, the only person who I probably wouldn't pick in this range would be Webb. Like, if you go from Lowry up to Rory, like if you take out Webb and Sungjae, I love everybody else.
I don't love Answer personally here, but
he's just so I thought that about a couple of the other courses that he's played too, and he did really well at, because you don't think of him as a longer hitter, and we're on his best putting surface. So for someone,
that's a good point.
He's usually really steady tee to green. And so I like a player like that. I don't think I'll get there because I'm going to be super heavy on Scheffler, and I like English. But I feel like Answer is probably a pretty safe cash play.
Yeah. I feel the same thing with Hideki as a cash play. I think Hideki's a great cash play. I don't think I'll be on him for GPPs, but I love Hideki up there, 8,800 as well, right above Answer. All right, let's get in the 7K range and below. Shane Lowry really did terrible for me on Sunday, but I have no problem going back to him.
I know. He went.
Or Monday. I'm sorry, Monday.
He went fucking ham on Saturday, I think, is when he shot like 8 or 9 under.
Yeah.
But he rates out very well again. I mean, he is really good at the short par 4s, avoiding bogeys. He's good proximity. He's very good around the green, which is something you want in a course that has small greens. I think Vegas is going to be very popular. Hoff Daddy is going to be super popular. I think Tringali is a nice play. The only problem is he's just ass off the tee. Like, he's second to last in this field. But the dude's been really good all year. I believe he did well again last week. He struggles off the tee, and his proximity from 175 to 200 is pretty shit. And those are 2 important metrics. So it's tough when someone who's cheap rates out well everywhere else except 2 fairly important pieces of like how the course is going to play. I don't really know what to do with that, but I mean, Lowry and Johnny B are going to be my 2 favorites.
Yeah, I had to start with Johnny B and pour one out for Dustin, and he finally let us down last week after 3 straight banging weeks for us, especially for Dustin. He was gaining 8, 10, and 7 strokes. Last week he didn't play that bad. It was putter losing 3 strokes on putting. It was a weird week also last week. So I don't mind that he missed the cut. In a way, it might be nice, but he's playing some good golf. And so at his price down at 7,100, he's a DFS dad's darling favorite the last month. So why not just keep it rolling? Opportunities gain. He's top 10 And he's also great off the tee. So, and obviously his driving distance, he's 16th. So off the tee, opportunities gain, driving distance, all things that we want this week. If he can not lose strokes putting, I like him. This is where it gets interesting, though. We have some pretty good golfers like Hudson Swafford. We got Phil, my boy Aaron Wise at 6,300. Max Homa, the Twitter favorite, at 6,400. There's a lot of pretty good golfers down here that if you have to take a flyer because you're picking someone like a Rahm, I'm okay. I think there's enough talent down here.
Yeah, I really like Homa this week. Homa and Ryan Palmer, they're both hit the ball pretty far. Neither one are that great around the green, but I mean, at 6,400, at least you get 4 days of them getting birdie opportunities. And Gooch rates out great, but he's right there with Tringali as the third to worst off the tee. So I don't know how he'll translate on a course that is longer, where off the tee does matter. But I do like the Huddy call. Swafford's he randomly just pops off. He was a beast this week for us. We used him, I think, either all 3 or 2 of the 3 days for Showdown. But I really like him this week too.
So what about Phil? He goes miscut, a top 20 at the St. Jude, and then miscut last week. He's obviously a world-class around the green player, so these small greens, that is good. He's top 10 in driving distance. Give it up for lefty, drinking a lot of coffee and hitting bombs. Top 10 driving distance at his age is impressive. Around the green, birdies are better. He makes stuff happen. There's no cut. So, yeah, he might have a bad round, but he can have 3 good rounds and make that up at 6,300. Do you see yourself going there or not? Are you giving him a possibility on tonight?
No. I think a balanced build is going to be the way most people go this week. And I would say if I'm going to look there, I'd rather pay a few hundred more. I'd even rather have Stewart Sink than Phil. Personally, they both hit bombs. Problem is, we love Phil.
He hits the bombs, though.
I know. Got the calves of a god.
Yeah, I like your plays of Homa. I didn't mind Homa, but now that you're on him, I'm going to give him a second look because I liked Ryan Palmer right below him, so I kind of disregarded Homa because of Palmer because I just liked head-to-head. I like Palmer more than Homa. And they're the same price at 6,400. So that's where I was going there. And I'll obviously staying on the train with Swafford down at 6K. I'm giving a look there. And I will be giving a look to Phil at 6,300. So overall, there's only 70 players. It is a no-cut event. It's kind of like it's a WGC event in a lot of ways. So it's going to be, you can be in the money on Thursday, Friday, and even Saturday, and then lose it all on Sunday and not cash it all. These events are crazy. They're fun. Showdowns I like more than the rounds. So I'm going to hold a little bit of money back to make sure I can go a little extra deep on the showdowns. They're going to have in-tournament stats, aren't they, for this course?
I honestly don't know.
I hope so. Because I love in-tournament stats. It's DFS stats. That's how we separate ourselves. All right. So check us out, dfsstats.com. Any last words?
Let's make some fucking money.
Bang, bang.